Hello and welcome to us lot finishing off Book 10 of Paradise Lost. I think I'd be a good TV presenter. Yeah, me too. Missed my calling in life. Right, let's do this. Let's crack on to the end, to the bitter end. But will it be a bitter end at the end of Book 10 for Adam and Eve? Remember, this isn't the end of Paradise Lost. There are 2 more books after this. But if you were to get a question in the exam about the ending of the texts, then this would be, you're not expected to know about the end of the epic itself. Right, so here we are at the end of Book 10, and my cultural reference is Killing Eve. Do you like it? No? Okay. Let's do this instead then. Can you not see? Is it too light? Annie, shall we try with the light off? Thank you. That better? Do you have enough light still to... Right. Okay. What are we seeing here? Well, he looks pretty angry, doesn't he? Don't know what's just happened to my class. It's like an Ofsted inspector has just walked in and they've all frozen. You're seeing exactly the same on the screen as they are right now, whoever you are watching in the future. Come on, what can we see? It's not a trick question. Sam, what can you see?
Eve is like apologizing to Adam, and Adam's looking like he's going to lash out at her.
Right. So, when you say sorry, do you say sorry on your knees with your head in your hands and with whoever you are apologising to with their fist raised above your head? If you do, can I suggest that that's not okay? That's a very messed up relationship and you need to seek some help. So this is a really good illustration of the intensity of the emotions that Adam and Eve are feeling at this time, isn't it? Okay, well, we'll move on from there then, rather rapidly. Okay, there are a lot of slides to get through. I apologise. So before each section, I've done a little paraphrase. And yes, you're probably now wondering why I didn't do that for all of the other slides that we've been through. I don't know. Sometimes I have ideas a little bit late. Maybe I'll go back and add this into them all. The camera's going funny because there's not enough light, isn't it? Oh, looking a bit kind of weird. I've moved it here as a trial. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Right. So, Book 10. As we go through, I'm going to talk you through what's happening, and then you're going to tell me what it makes you think of in Book 4. Bonsoir. I didn't, but thank you for at least attempting to communicate with me. And I will just be picking at people at random. Bang. I'll say, where does this make you think of? What kind of idea or contrast? We're not always looking for direct links. So, first one, Adam's not happy to see Eve, and he wishes that she looked as bad on the outside as he thinks she is on the inside. Out of my sight, thou serpent! That name best befits thee, with him leagued. Thyself as false and hateful, nothing wants but that thy shape like his, and colour serpentine, may show thy inward fraud, to warn all creatures from thee henceforth. Because if you put your hand up and offer one, then, you've had your turn. So here's Adam wishing that Eve looked as bad on the outside as he thinks she is on the inside. Is that making us think of anything from A Doll's House? Megan?
Hannah thinks that Norma's a bad person, but she's very,
Right, lovely. So we've got that link there with how Nora knows that she's physically attractive, often uses it to her advantage, and Torvald is, could we say maybe he's a bit deceived by that for some of the play? Okay, that's all I'm looking for, just that brief little link so that you're always thinking of these texts in comparison. Now, I don't know if you want to make notes in your books or notes on a separate piece of paper, but let's make sure we're making meaningful notes that will be genuinely helpful in revision and not looking back and going, why did I write that? Your vanity and pride have caused all of this. It's all your fault. If it wasn't for you, I'd been happy. Had not your pride and wandering vanity rejected my warning and not trusted me. Right. Doll's House? Talia.
In Act 3, when Torvald's calling the election
Right.
I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like, do you understand what you've done to me or something?
Yes, exactly. That's a really good link. So Torvald in Act 3, a criminal, he calls her a wretched woman, but all he can think of is what her actions, the effect that it will have on him. Good. People need to start waking up a little bit. Do we need to open the blinds a little bit? Yes, let's do that. Let's get a bit of light in the room. You've all gone a bit dormant. Thank you. Abby, Olivia, could you do the one? You do that one, Abby. Just do it halfway. Don't want anyone blinded. That's all right. Sam, if you're blinded, move down a few seats. It's a beautiful winter's day. It's an odd day. It was the American election yesterday. We're still awaiting the results. We're all feeling a bit unsettled, I think. And for purposes of posterity, also, we're about to go to a day-on, day-off system here at QE. Imagine it like you lot finish uni and you're like, oh, should we watch some old videos of Julie? And you go, remember that? Remember it was the day after the election? We couldn't believe it. We thought Trump would lose. Okay, good. Next one. Now, this is interesting. You're going to have to really think hard to make a more thematic or even almost like philosophical link here, right? Why did God make me a woman as a mate and not a man? Men are so much better. Or why did God create a wise that peopled highest heaven with spirits masculine? They're all male up there, those angels. Why did he create this novelty? He refers to Eve as a novelty on earth, a fair defect. Why didn't he fill the world with men as angels? This mischief had not then befallen. And then he warns that further disturbances will be caused through female snares. Some lovely little quotations to snip out there when thinking about the presentation of women in this text. A novelty, a fair defect, female snares. Right. Who wants to make this talk to Doll's House? Go on, Connor.
It could be the idea of like to make men superior. So say like Eve's talking about wise and just why did God make a man? Like,
Well, Adam's saying this.
Yeah. So like why hasn't God just made man?
Yeah.
It could be the idea that like men need something to somewhere to feel like superior. It's that idea of like gender class. So if you link that to adults' house, as in like Torvald's the breadwinner for the family.
Right, good.
So in that way, he kind of could be linked to a quote as well, like more of a sexual quote. It's like when Nora says no to him, he goes, "Well, you are my wife."
Right. Okay, I like the way you're thinking, Connor. I like that a lot. Does anyone want to develop it further, Poppy?
I was just going to say how he's kind of objectified in a way by like saying that she was his prey and that therefore he should probably should have like control over it.
Right, so that sense of objectification, of ownership, that's good. Go on, Georgia.
I think the men in both texts think that the women are being kind of stupid and naive because they are women, and they don't realise that it's because they don't give them the same opportunities.
Right, so
it's inherent.
It's inherent. Can you link this with Doll's House but not talk about Nora and Torvald? I'm thinking of a conversation between Rank and Christine. That's what you're thinking, isn't it? Come on, honey. All right, what I want you to do is I want you to make a note of that. There's something going on. There's a conversation that Rank and Christine have when they first meet. And we've got this idea here of companionship being better between two men than between a man and a woman. Now, where can we bring some context into that? What was Milton's belief? Now, I again make a note. If you don't know it now, there's something going on here with Milton and context. Okay. Right. I really love this next bit. Milton gets quite personal about marriage. Here he goes. I tell you the problem with women and marriage is you just see him getting wound up. Either you'll never find your fit mate. Now, obviously, fit mate means something very different in 2020. Fit as in appropriate, not as in for, and mate as in a sexual and marital companion. But I just like the idea of Milton saying someone's a fit mate. So, what might be the barriers to finding the perfect match? Does anyone want to jump into this bit of text and tell me? He mentions a few here. Why might you end up with an unfit mate? Olivia?
Could you say why something she can't actually?
You can, but he doesn't mention that here. Abby?
Kind of mentioned about them type of female being still controlled and owned by their parents.
Right, so you might meet the perfect. Oh, hang on. Hide that. Let's move me out the way. I'm always in the way. Oh, sorry. I'm going to use my point, guys. I'm going for it. So she might be withheld by parents. So you might meet the perfect woman, but her parents won't let you marry her. Right, good. Abby? Yeah. Already linked and wedlock bound to a fell adversary. You meet her, but she's already married. Oh no. What's another reason? Go right to the beginning here. These are the easy ones. What might you make? Holly?
A mistake.
Yeah, you might just make a mistake. You might just marry the wrong woman through misfortune or mistake. Or whom he wishes most shall seldom gain through her perverseness. What does that mean? Don't be misled by our understanding of the word pervert. Think more to pervert the course of law, you legal students. Or whom he wishes most shall seldom gain through her perverseness. Go on, Olivia, you look like you're almost there, no? Beth? Anyone? Megan? Oh, Abby?
You said like going against like the husband.
Oh, you're almost there. You might not be able to get her because she is being If you pervert the course of law, what do? Prevent it from happening, go against it. A perversion is something seen as being kind of unnatural, unlawful, going against it. So quite simply, he's saying, you might meet the perfect woman, but because she's being awkward, stubborn, perverse, she won't engage with you. What's the main problem with this way of thinking? What does it imply? Something that you lot might actually believe. Poppy?
It's always like the woman who's at fault and needs to change.
Yeah, that often it's the woman who's at fault, yeah. But something else.
It's the man's job to go out and find a wife.
And it's the man's job to go out and find a wife. And something else. Second line, what does it assume? That there is what might we call a fit mate? True love? Soulmate? The perfect man or woman is out there for you, waiting for you? Do you believe that? Do you believe there's one person out there for you? It's all right if you do. I've only learned otherwise from bitter experience. Don't be put off by me, but I know plenty of people. A friend who teaches here met his wife when they got together when they were 15, and they're still together now. So, it can happen, but there's that kind of, for Milton, this suggests to me this kind of, this like naivety. He's a man, who, I know that's Adam talking, but can you hear Milton speaking there? And then he was a man who was married 3 times. His first 2 wives obviously didn't choose to leave him, they died. And he's left with his daughters. Okay. Can you make that speak to Doll's House then? I'm really looking at some people who haven't contributed yet. Poppy, start us off.
It might not be a great thing, but how Torvald kind of blames himself for Nora's faults, maybe, because he says he was like blind to his father's faults.
So he should have paid more attention and not been so deliberately almost ignorant of what her father was doing. Yeah, I like that, Poppy. Go on, keep going.
And then I think in one of the marriage manuals, I think for the husbands, it says they have to allow time for their wives' true qualities to show. So
Yes.
They know that it's the right person.
Yes, so you have quite a long engagement so that you get to know one another, which is good advice, really, even now, isn't it? Holly, do you want to add to that?
Could you learn further about parents to Nora's dad? Because she says about how her dad and Torvald have both done her a big, they failed her.
Yes.
And that's kind of talks about the idea of your dad having control over you and then your husband.
Yes, good. So the idea of control, that's good. Talia?
Because you essentially also talk about Krogstad and Christine because they were both married prior to coming back to each other, so almost the idea of soulmates, if you like. How women had the wrong.
Yes.
Before.
Yes. So financial circumstances kept them apart. They've returned, and then I think we were encouraged to believe that their marriage will be successful because they've both had experience outside of what an unhappy marriage is. Lovely. Anything else? Okay. Oh, Eve. At this point, Eve is no Nora. Forsake me not thus, Adam. Witness heaven what love sincere and reverence in my heart I bear thee. And she gets on her knees and she clasps him around the knees, and she basically says, I can't live without you. Can't live without you, and what will happen to me? Whither shall I betake me? Where subsist? How can I live without you? She says. Doll's House? Sam, any thoughts?
Kind of how initially Nora tries to plead with Alma to try and stop him from saying something that's kind of, so when he obviously started to say the things about her having the kids taken off her because she wasn't trusted, that was kind of the point where in Nora's eyes had gone too far.
Right.
And that's when she made a decision in her mind.
Okay, good. So a link there with Nora pleading with Krogstad. Good. Poppy?
It's like a contrast between how Eve is being now, like after her like transgression is being revealed, compared to how Nora was at the end when she had a conversation with her husband after her transgression was revealed.
Right.
Both Adam and Torvald have been like accusing their wives in the same kind of manner, but while Eve sees that and thinks this is the true man, and like that's the way I want to be with Eve, this kind of thing, and I can't live without him, but he is the only person she's ever known, so the
Right. So a direct kind of contrast there of Eve being completely penitent, and what will she have without him? There's nobody else in Eden, and Nora kind of rejecting that and saying she'd rather be on her own in society. Georgie, you want to add to that?
It's told at the end of the Doll's House, kind of saying, I can't be without you.
Yeah, it's his realization, and when he says at the end about the miracle. Could that be him realising that he's going to go after her, or that, it's fine, he'll kind of cope and then she'll come back? We don't know. Oh. We could die at any minute, so shouldn't we just be friends? Always good advice. It's all my fault, she says, and when I get to heaven, I'll beg God just to punish me. How's that stopped working? While yet we live, the scarce 1 short hour perhaps, between us two let there be peace, both joining as joined in injuries, one enmity against a foe by doom express assigned us, that cruel serpent. Come on, we don't know how much time we've got left, but maybe shouldn't we at least be together against that adversary? On me exercise not thy hatred for this misery befallen, on me already lost, me then, thyself more miserable. She says, we've both sinned, but I'm more miserable because you only sinned against God, but I sinned against God and you, so I'm doubly miserable. And so when I get to the place of judgment, I will cry that all the sentence be removed from your head, and I'm the only one to be punished. Me only. Just object of his ire. Ire is a really good word to use in Scrabble, by the way. Annie?
When you think of like Krogstad and Christine and the way they're like two castaways together, it's the fact that obviously Eve is saying to be friends, they're still like suggesting targets and
yes. Yeah, lovely. So a nice comparison there with Krogstad and Christine clinging to the shipwreck together. They might as well go forward in adversary. Good. Georgia?
It's Eve that performs the miracle in this. She wants to take the blame, even though it's the woman that should really be in her job.
Good. Although she is more blameworthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eve is saying that she'll take the blame completely. But what does Adam think of that? Well, first of all, he forgives her because she's crying, which is pretty straightforward. And then he says, look, if prayers could alter high decrees, I to that place would speed before thee. If it would do any good to petition God in this way, I'd go, and I'd be louder heard than you, that I might take all the punishment because, quite honestly, you can't handle it because you're a woman. By frailty and infirmer sex forgiven, to me committed and by me exposed. Right. So, where's that taking us in a doll's house? Yeah?
When Laura tries to convince Torvald that she'll kill herself to get out of the situation, but then he says, "Oh no, it's fine. I'll have to take this blame for the both of us."
So, yeah, so Nora suggests that there is a way out, that she commits suicide. Although Torvald says he'll take the blame. Go on, Sam, do you want to come in on that?
It's in kind of direct contrast to the miracle that you mentioned. So in this one, Adam's actually saying, I will take the blame for what happened, whereas Torvald fails to do that. Yeah,
Torvald kind of goes, he almost says, stupid woman, that's not going to help. That's just going to make it worse if you kill yourself, because it's all part of making me look bad. Whereas Adam seems genuinely to be saying, no, I'll bear the brunt of this. This is what will happen. Talia?
More on the kind of frailty side, Torvald makes those remarks about playing like how like a woman.
Yep.
And when they're having the conversation after Constance in the second letter, he says something like, "When I wouldn't want to bear my wounds on you," or something.
Yes.
So it's the similar kind of protection.
Yeah.
Even though it comes out from a different place.
Yeah.
Because Torvald's more doing it to be a man of honour, whereas Adam's doing it because he genuinely has feelings.
Yes, because Adam's not affected by that, the rules of that bourgeois society. Olivia?
Would you say Adam and Eve horse-flapped area? That's what
No, pre is before.
Pre.
Yeah.
Adam was very like, not false about his faith, but it was very visual and very falsified.
Like kind of performative. Yeah.
And now it's real. But in a doll's house, it's always been performative. Even at the end, I still think Torvald's being performative.
I think,
It doesn't do anything to show you actually want to.
I think that's a lovely idea, Olivia. Yeah. Give you a chance to write that down. Okay. So he says, let's just be friends now, make the most of it. But rise. Rise. We don't know how long we're going to have to be together before, death is pronounced on us. But what he is worried about is that this could be a slow-paced evil, a long day's dying. It's a lovely phrase, isn't it? A long day. Sounds like the name of like a Western movie or something. A long day's dying. The U.S. election. Oh. A long day's dying to augment our pain, and to our seed, oh hapless seed, derived. So, what's he worried about there, Poppy? He's worried about his children, yeah. Now, this is really important. Tell me again what Milton's view of the role of a wife was. Or don't, and make me worry that you've not learned anything contextually and you're going to fail your assessment in a few weeks. Amy?
To support him better as a man.
Right, so the wife supports the man. Go on. So that the man can do what?
Love God more.
Right, so that the man can serve God through the works that he does. Right, okay. To whom thus Eve, recovering heart, replied, Adam, by sad experiment, I love that, by sad experiment, I know how little weight my words with thee can find. Nevertheless, restored by thee, vile as I am, to place of new acceptance, from thee I will not hide what thoughts in my unquiet breast are risen. Now, this is really important because one of the things that Milton did believe in was open, honest communication between a husband and a wife. Not equal, doesn't mean that, the woman got to say her mind and then that was acted upon, but that there should be honesty and openness between them. And this is the charge that some people have put at the door of the failure of his first marriage to a much younger woman who was from a royalist family, that perhaps there wasn't that kind of honest and open communication. So we looked at the marriage manuals for Ibsen that were written in the 19th century. I think you could take a lot from Paradise Lost as a marriage manual that Milton was writing. This is what a good marriage, a successful marriage does. The woman obeys the husband for a start, and she helps him be the best he can be in order to serve his God. So this is a really important bit. I'm just going to move on. And she recognises that he's worried about having children. It's really simple. Let's just not have any. If care of our descent perplex us most, which must be born to certain woe, why are we worried about having these kids? Because when we do, at some point, they're going to be devoured by death. And it's really miserable, isn't it, to cause other people misery? That will be hanging over us all our lives, that we give birth to these children who will die. So let's just not have any. Simple. And this will be really good because death's waiting for us to have children so he can eat them. So it'll trick him even more. But perhaps noticing that Adam is not quite enjoying this idea, she suggests, look, and if we can't do that, let's just kill ourselves. Now, that's pretty extreme, but at least Eve here is offering some solutions. She's not just being passive. She's not just waiting for Adam to tell her what to do. So the old Eve, the prelapsarian Eve, hasn't quite disappeared. She still has some agency. She still has some investment in her own kind of future and ideas. Childless thou art, childless remain. So death shall be deceived his glut. Right. He won't be able to do anything. However, if thou judge it hard and difficult, conversing, looking, loving, to abstain from love's due rights, then what we should do, both ourselves and seed at once to free from what we fear for both, let us make short, let us seek death. Let's go find him. Let's not wait for him to find us. Remember, death's a real thing, an unhidebound corpse trotting around on his horse. Let's go find him. And if we can't find him, well, we'll do it ourselves. Instead of shivering under fears, love that line, shivering under fears that show no end but death, and have the power of many ways to die, the shortest choosing, destruction with destruction to destroy. Come on, that must give you goosebumps, that line. Destruction with destruction to destroy. No, just me? Do you like it, Talia? That's good, isn't it? Is that talking to Doll's House? Any of that? Poppy?
It's not the obvious one, but how both Christine and Krogstad are kind of willing to sacrifice some things in order to kind of
Right.
please them.
Yeah, the idea of sacrificing something really, really important to be together. That's good. Megan?
I was going to say how it's like mimicking Christine and Krogstad in the way that they can talk to each other about these things without
Yeah.
being like out of turn.
Yeah, it's appropriate for them in a successful marriage to discuss it. Connor?
Could be the idea that like it could maybe like he's actually maybe tomorrow's that she's both sick of living in fear and both like,
Yeah.
being controlled.
Yeah.
Just want to get on with it now.
Good lads, that's exactly they both. That's why I said about that shivering under fear. It's better to do something, even if it's going to end badly. Let's not just sit around waiting. Who else is like that in Paradise Lost? Who doesn't like sitting around waiting and wants to act? Sin, another woman, well, kind of woman who needs to go to some dog obedience training. Who a woman? I need to this. God, Ludo just had my arm off this morning. But he's cute. Okay. But it's also the man, the husband's job to say to the woman, okay, like, what, nice try, Eve. I don't think that's going to work. So thinking to evade the penalty pronounced, doubt not that God hath wisely armed his vengeful ire than so to be forestalled. I think if we try that, God might have an answer. I don't think God's going to let us get away with that, right? Much more, I fear, lest death so snatched will not exempt us from the pain we are by doom to pay. We can't, there's no shortcut to this punishment. We've just got to put up with it and take it. Okay? And also, if we're not punished, if we don't have kids, then Satan won't be punished. Let us seek, here's the husband giving good counsel, let us seek some safer resolution. Now, we don't see Krogstad doing this at any point, do we? We don't see Krogstad saying, right, okay, Nora, let's go sit down and let's think together, let's talk about this. What does he do? Holly? What does not Krogstad, sorry. I always do that, don't I? Torvald.
He just kind of blames her and doesn't really try to make it work.
Exactly. He blames her, doesn't try to make it work. And, go on, there's a bit more. When the letter's returned, the IOU's returned and everything's all right, he's going to let Nora stay, but there's a condition.
What was his wife trying to just keep up the front?
Yeah, it's going to be a sham. It's going to be a front. And she's certainly not going to be allowed to influence the children, right? So there's the exact opposite there, isn't there? Does it make more sense now how these texts talk to each other? Once you do this quite patiently, they're there, aren't they? They're there. Because ultimately we're still just looking at two texts that are about marriage. Yeah, and a bit of sin thrown in and kind of eternal damnation. But apart from that, and part of our sentence that thy seed shall bruise the serpent's head. So we mustn't try and, he says, so no more be mentioned then of violence against ourselves and willful barrenness that cuts us off from hope. That's really important because suicide is the ultimate sin because it shows that you don't have hope and faith in God to fix your life, basically. Okay. Now this is important. Move me out of the way again. I mean, when I'm doing these, do I need to be on them? Like if you're watching them back, do you just need to hear my voice, or is it like nice to see my face? I don't mean nice as in to see my face, but does it make it a bit more, or could I just do a voiceover and that would be all right? No response. They literally don't care. I've got nothing. I love this class as well. No opinion. Well, I'm doing it because I just think it's a bit more personal.
It makes it a bit easier to follow because it's not just like a random video we're watching, like it's actually our teacher talking to us.
Right, thank you, Megan. Megan, you can have a sticker for that in a minute. Yeah, they're A-level students and I'll give them stickers. You know, whoever you are watching, you want a sticker. I mean, anyone could be watching, couldn't they? They'd have to be pretty sad if it was just a member of the public going, I don't, Georgia, why are you looking at like that?
I don't know.
Actually, these punishments aren't that bad. So now, look at what he's doing. Imagine if Torvald had ever done that. Look, come on, Nora, it's going to be all right. All right, yeah, it's painful to have a baby, but then you get a baby. Woohoo! And do you know what? I don't mind working, because what's the alternative? Doing nothing, being idle. Right, tell me about this bit. Tell me why this bit is so important. What is this, the foundation, the basis of? The man working, the woman rearing the children. Go on, Georgia.
Just society.
It's the foundation of society. It's what needs to happen, isn't it? Sam, you might need to move back over in the corner now. I think you might be in a bit more shade. Get off your phone as well. Thinks I don't notice. Thinks I don't have eyes everywhere. And it's never gone away. It's still here now, isn't it? It's here in the funny looks that Eddie sometimes gets when he tells people he's a full-time dad, or the patronising, oh, that's nice. This is the absolute basis of a stable society, is what is believed. Poppy?
I was going to say it's a nice kind of complimenting attitude because Eve's just reassured Adam, and now Adam's reassuring Eve.
Yeah.
Which shows that they can be honest and they can.
Yeah. Yeah, that they are in sync, that they are on, it's reassuring. So yeah, we've got this, I mean, I don't have any problem with a family unit where the man goes out to work and the woman stays at home and looks after the children, as long as that is made as a free choice. Olivia?
Would you say when it says pains only, it sort of like diminishes all the pains women have and childbirth itself, so that's like the patriarchy being introduced.
Yeah, not introduced, reinforced, I think. Yeah, definitely. Pains only in childbearing were foretold. No, you're not going to have any other pains, it's going to be fine. And bringing forth soon recompense with joy, fruit of thy womb. And it's also the implication that you're not really a woman till you've had children as well. Now, should you all you women in this room, do you all want children? Some of you don't have that option. If you're going to have children, you're going to have to steal them off the streets. I've got one gone spare. 2-year-old. It's an absolute menace. Keeps shushing me. No, Mum. Shh. That's all I get. No, Mum. It's a joy. Right, so that's it. We're at the end of book 10, guys. We made it. That's it. They confess, they cry, they say they're sorry. And God's like, all right, okay, I know you're sorry. I mean, it's still going to be pretty bad for you guys. But that is the end of book 10. We have made it. How do you feel? Took us a while, didn't it? Right, let's turn this off.